Stephanie Milky here, aka KetoMOM, or often called mom, sis, Steffi, daughter, wife, aunt, and friend. Just like many of you, I carry a lot of titles. My favorite title is mom. I should probably say wife, which takes a lot of my time. But let's be honest, if you want to do something and do it well, you will make the time for it. Commitment is hard because we find ourselves overcommitted, but when you practice prioritizing, you will find out what is actually important and what you can let go. With the KetoMOM podcast, you will learn together how to manage our time, commit to the most important things in life, and I will equip you with the tools you need to feel qualified each step of the way. My name is Stephanie Milky, and welcome to the KetoMOM Secrets podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the KetoMOM page. My name is Stephanie, and I would love to talk to you about the path. I'm actually going to talk to you about a couple of things that we learned this weekend. We had an incredible mastermind at our house. We had some people that drove in from Florida. They flew in from, North Dakota, Ohio, Tennessee, Florida. We met in our home this weekend. And then in our home, during this weekend, as we were talking about business and life and, helping each other, we also, in our home, watched an event by Tony Robbins. And there's a couple of things I want to share with you tonight. So that is incredible. It's going to help you achieve the goals that you want. It's going to give you and we're going to dive into the entire concept this week. But as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? Let me see. How's your weekend going? It's Sunday night here in Florida. I'm almost at 10,000 steps. I'm on day 4 of 75 hard. I'm on day 20, what is the date today? The 26th or 27th of carnivore. In my own health journey, I feel like I'm dominating, right? I feel like there's certain areas where I'm dominating and there's certain areas of my life where I have to get better. And there's things that I want to be better. And there's things that I'm like, I need to work on more of this. So how are you doing? How was your day? How was your weekend? Do you have your week prepped? So I'm going to share a couple things that I wrote down from the event that we watched from Tony Robbins. How many of you know Tony Robbins? If you know who Tony Robbins is, drop a 1 in the chat. Okay? I'm drinking a protein shake. It's just chocolate protein, a little bit of nut butter, ice, collagen. That's about it. All right. Are you guys ready? Does nobody know who Tony Robbins is? You know who Tony Robbins is. He's been around and he's been training people for 50 years. 50, maybe longer, maybe shorter. I don't know, 40 maybe. All right. So Tony Robbins, think about self-development, personal development, helping. Oh, right. We've got a 1. Ruth knows who Tony Robbins is, right? Okay. So think about this. It was a 3-day event for 3 hours a day. And you got on live and it was a free event. And you got on live and you watched him coach people on their mindset. It's one of my most favorite things to talk about. And he talked about a lot of things. So there's things that he said, he said, if you can't, then you must. So just so you know, he walks through a plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print out this plan and I'm going to share it with you this week. I'm going to show you what the plan looks like to get from point A to point B. He's like, do you want to know how to hit your goals? Do you want to know how to achieve the things that you have up here? Hopefully you have them on a vision board, but whatever you're wanting in life, do you want to know how to get there? He goes, I have a path. I have a path for you. So I wrote it all down. It's 7 steps, and the steps are based on what you want. He talks about truth and knowing the truth. He talks about massive action, slaying the dragon, DMOs, how do you measure, and then he talks about celebrating. So we're going to go through those 7 steps this week on the KetoMOM page. And I'm going to show you the path, and I believe he did an incredible job. And I'm really like this, man, Patty's like, how did you get your hair so long? I got my hair so long because you guys never see my hair down. It's usually in a ponytail. If you see me with makeup on and my hair done, it's because I went to church. And I don't cut it. Actually, this is a story I actually should tell, because I've actually been, I feel like, battling stress and my own hormones for 6 months. And I think I figured out some things. So if you want me to share it with you, I can. If you're not interested in my own hormones and my own hair story and my stress story, I want to share it with you. So, okay. So here's what he talked about. He said, if you tell yourself that you can't, if you say like, oh, I can't go to the gym, I can't prep my meals, I can't eat this way, I can't, right? He's like, you must. Like, you must. It's very, very, very important for you if you find yourself saying you can't, because if you don't do those things, you're basically not going to achieve those goals that you want. So I'm going to cover more of this with the path, but I just wrote down some favorite things that he says. He said, and I've said this before, you can't manage what you don't measure. You can't manage what you don't measure. So I'm going to tell you something. In the very beginning of my husband and I diving into eating better, my husband tracked everything that he ate. This is almost 9 years ago. And we tracked our food, and we tracked, like, pricked our finger, were we in ketosis? Like, we were tracking things. And then probably about a year in, we stopped, because I knew what to eat, and I knew, like, the foods that I could visualize, like, I know what to do. And when I don't track things, which I haven't done in 7 years, or when you don't track things in general, it's easy to let yourself off the hook. So I started doing carnivore. January 1st, which I'm going to tell you, I believe has 100% helped my hormones. I'm going to believe that's one of the factors of my hair not falling out. And that's just me. So I'm not giving you any medical advice. It's a personal thing, me. I do believe it's actually been really great for my body. So he says, you can't manage what you don't track. You can't manage what you don't measure. And oftentimes we think that, well, we'll just leave things up to chance. But if you just leave something up to chance, do you think it's actually going to happen? No. So I decided this year I was gonna step my health up. So, like, I was tracking the things that I ate. We're doing 75 hard with our friends, which I'm tracking in an app. And when I have a tracker, like, I have a 7-day habit tracker you can have for free. And it's all you do is print it out. And you can track your water that you did it. You can track your food. Did you intermittent fast? Like, these things. Because when I go into my 75 hard app and I see the things I have to do, like read, done. Like, when I go in there and go, I have to do two workouts a day, done, right? You're doing 75 hard too? Patty, what day are you on? We only started doing it because our friends are doing it. And I'm doing all of the things except for 2 workouts a day. So I'm like, well, I can do that. But now I have to do it, which I haven't done my second workout yet. So I'm done talking to you. I'm going to go do it. But I have this app, right? And it's tracking everything. So I have to go click on it. I drank all of my water, my gallon of water. Day 30, day 27. Way to go, Patty. So I'm just giving you perspective. Like, if you want to achieve something and you're not managing it with anything, like you're just keeping it all up here, I'm going to encourage you to either write it down, find a tracker. If you want my free habit tracker to help you with food and water and movement and mindset, post tracker in the comments and I'll give it to you, right? So we'll talk more about that when we go through this week, when we go through the path. And another thing, okay, so people message Tony Robbins, or they talk to Tony Robbins often, and they're like, and I have people that message me every day. Stephanie, how do I get motivated? How do I get this done? Like, I just feel like, how do I get inspired? Like, what am I supposed to do? How do I keep going? And at some point in time, Tony said a cuss word, just to, like, I'm not a cusser, no offense if you are, like, listen. But he says, he goes, I don't give a bleep if you don't feel like it. Because, people, if you're not tracking things, and then if you don't track things, it's easy to let yourself off the hook. And if you let yourself off the hook, right, then you go to people and you're like, well, I really want to achieve this goal, but I don't feel like going for a walk today. I don't feel like doing that second workout. It's dark out. Like, I went almost at 10,000 steps, but I still have to go do a weight workout. I could easily say, I don't feel like it. Like, I had a long weekend, a really great weekend, talking to a whole bunch of people in my home, And mentally, I'm like, I would love to just veg out in front of the TV. I don't feel like it. And here he goes, here's where the rubber meets the road. My dad says this often. Here's where the rubber meets the road. I don't care if you don't feel like it. He goes, I don't give a beep if you don't feel like it. He goes, go do it anyways. Get your butt up and go do it. Well, Stephanie, it's late and I don't feel like planning my menu for this week. I don't feel like doing laundry. I don't feel like getting ready for the gym. I don't feel like prepping my lunch. I don't feel like it tonight, so maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I don't care how you feel. Hear me on this, like hear my heart. Like, I don't give a beep on how you feel. He's saying this to the audience, right? Do it anyway. Do you actually want to achieve goals? Do you actually want it? Then you do it anyway. Doesn't matter what your feelings are saying. They lied to you, right? So we'll dive more into that. The point is you need to just get started, and I've got one more thing for you. And I actually want you to think about this for a second because it's so powerful, and I'll dive more into this week. Which, by the way, before I share this with you, this was my favorite part, one of my favorite parts, besides the outline of the path, is if you're brand new, I'd love for you to post new below. If you're looking for a foods list or how to get started, you can ask questions below. You can send me a message. You can always go to KetoMOM Secrets, all one word. KetoMomSecrets.com when I'm done with talking to you and I go get my 75 hard workout in, and then I have to pack up trials because I've got, I think, 6 packs of ketones to six orders of ketones to get out. If you've never tried ketones, if you're looking for a book club, if you want to know what to eat, KetoMomSecrets.com or reach out. So, okay, I have one more question for you this evening. What do you want? Now listen, I ask it all the time. I'm going to flip something in a second. So I want you to play full out, whether you're sitting at home answering and you're watching or you want to answer below. What do you want? And when he asks this question, he's like, and I'm referring to he as Tony Robbins. He goes, most people sit there with like a blank stare and they're like, what do I want? What do I want? Like, I don't know what I want. And so then he goes, okay, let's flip it. What don't you want? I'm going to tell you something in a second. So think about this. Patty, you're doing so great. Thanks for playing full out. What don't you want? Can you think about that? What don't you want? I don't want to get sick. I don't want to be unhealthy. I don't want to go into debt. I don't want a failed marriage. I don't want, like, kids that don't listen to me. I don't want. What don't you want? Right? All right. He says, isn't it interesting because sometimes people have such a hard time thinking about what they want, and they're so focused on what they don't want, that's all they're focused on, that they usually get what they don't want. Meaning, he's like, I've told this story before, but have you ever heard, like, there's, people, let me try to explain the story super short. People are driving in a car, right? And they're driving and somehow they speed off the road and they hit the pole, right? And when they hit the pole and they're not fine, but they come to, or the doctor's like, hey, what do you remember? How did you hit the pole? And the guy's like, well, I don't know. The last thing I remember is the last thing I saw was the pole, right? I hit the pole. How'd you hit the pole? Were you texting? Were you, what happened? I don't know. The last thing I remember is I hit the pole. The last thing I remember seeing is the pole. And that's the same with what you think about. I don't want this. I don't want this. Like, I'm stressed out. I don't want these things. But your mind is so fixated on what you don't want. What do you think you're going to get? If you don't have any idea of what you want, like legitimate, measurable goals, smart goals that you're like, I'm just letting life happen to me, then life is just going to happen to you. But if you take some time and you tune into the Keto Mom page and you let me explain the path to you this week and you do the work and you have a plan, right? And you actually know what you want, not what you don't want, you're more likely to achieve those goals. Does that make sense? Don't hit the pole. You're going to hit the pole that you're looking at. And the pole that you're looking at right now, right? You need to focus on what you do want. Yes, Ruth is right. Focus on what you do want. And if you don't know what that is, there's a perfect time tonight to get started, to go, what do I want? What am I believing for? What do I want to achieve? What do I just need to give myself a mustard seed of faith to believe that something can be possible, right? Yes, Amanda's like, I want to be healthy and happy. I love that. How are you going to do it? We're going to give you the plan this week. So I loved the entire Tony Robbins event. It was virtual, so great. So many little nuggets I could share for hours and hours. And I'm going to share a whole bunch of things this week. So here's what I want you to know. At any point in time, you can send me a message. You can reach out with questions. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com. And just know that I can't make you do it, but if you hired a coach, like you were paying me, or Tony Robbins, or which there's a big difference of like Tony Robbins and then me, right? But if you were going to pay somebody, they would say this phrase to you. I don't give a bleep what you think. I don't care what you think. Like, go do it. Go do it. Get your menu planned for this week. Pack your lunch so that you're not going out to eat or going through a drive-through, right? If you don't have groceries in your house, get your butt off the couch and go to the store. Go get some groceries so that you're prepared to have a successful week to achieve the goals that you want. Everybody's on this KetoMOM page, I'm going to assume. I can't imagine anybody found this page without wanting to reach a health goal. It's called KetoMOM. I've very much considered changing the name, but I'm not going to. So I could call myself carnivore mom that drinks ketones. But here's what I want you to know. You can achieve the goals that you want. It takes time, effort, right? It takes a plan, which we're going to walk through, and I want to help you with that. So ketones, accountability, mindset, determination. I love that, Amanda. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Your presence matters. I would love it if you press the share button. Sharing is caring. And just know that I'm excited to share this path with you. Is it common sense? Like I told my husband, I was like, man, I loved this weekend. I love this weekend. Initially, this weekend was for people to come in and we talk about, how, like our ketone business. This is what we talked about. This is how we all met. All of the people that came here, we met over the interweb, and it was all about ketones. So they came in and we were going to talk about how to build this business, how to share ketones, how to share your story, how to inspire others. What does that look like? And a majority of our conversations are based around people's lives and their mindset and just working through stuff that people have been through and getting past the yuck, forgiveness, and moving forward with what they want. And there has to be an aspect where you're like, all right, I'm going to move forward with what I want, not with what I don't want. So I want to say, cheers. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate that you comment below. I like to see what you have to say. And I hope that this was valuable to you. I would love it if you press the share button, tag a friend below, continue to tune in. These lives stay up so you can watch the replay. And this week, as I share lives on the path, pop over to the KetoMOM page, watch the lives, and let me know what you think. So have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you soon.